The NIS reported that North Korea publicly executed Defense Minister Hyon Yong-chol for dozing off at an event attended by leader Kim Jong-un. President Park Geun-hye has called for an overhaul to the nation's financial system, minimizing unnecessary projects and expanding welfare. And the flagship broadcasters of South Korea and China, KBS and CCTV, have agreed to expand cooperation on production. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Thursday, May 14th. I'm Luke Clary. The National Intelligence Service says that it has received information that North Korea has publicly executed its number 2 man in its military. The NIS reported that the defense minister was killed for dozing off at an event attended by leader Kim Jong-un.
At a military event held in North Korea on April 24th, attended by its leader Kim Jong-un, the Minister of the People's Armed Forces Hyon Yong-chol can be seen next to the director of the Korean People's Army Hwang Pyong-so. Unlike the other officials who sit straight, only Hyun appears slouching and dozing off. In a photo that was taken 6 days after the event, Hyun seems to be the only high-ranking military official not to be present. The National Intelligence Service says Hyun was apparently executed for often expressing his complaints about Kim Jong-un and talking back to him. The decision to purge him came after he was spotted dozing off at an event attended by the North Korean leader.
모반 가능성보다는 불경 및 불충, 이른바 유일 영도 10대 원칙에 있는 김정은 권위 훼손.
However, the South Korean spy agency added that it was yet to confirm whether or not Hyun had been executed indeed, because he had been shown on North Korean television up until May 11th, which is more than 10 days later after the presumed date of his execution.
The international community is responding to the public execution of North Korean Defense Chief Hyon Yong-chol. The U.S. criticized the North Korean regime's cruelty, while European media outlets analyzed the incident, saying it shows the Korean regime.
Regarding media reports that the chief of North Korean People's Armed Forces Hyon Yong-chol was publicly executed, the U.S. State Department said that it is not in a position to confirm the specifics. But its remarks are interpreted as an indirect confirmation of Hyun's execution. The U.S. criticized the method of the execution, saying that if reports that Hyun was executed by an anti-aircraft gun are true, it demonstrates the brutality of the North Korean regime.
If they are true, describe another extremely brutal act by the North Korean regime.
Major European news outlets covered the purge of Hyun in top headlines. The UK's BBC analyzed that the execution of Hyun shows the instability of the Kim Jong-un regime. Analysis by French media concluded that the case confirms Kim Jong-un's difficulty in consolidating his power and keeping the military under control. They added that the incident demonstrates the brutality and ruthlessness of the North Korean leader.
The government plans to minimize unnecessary projects and expand welfare in the next 5 years. At a national financial strategy meeting, President Park Geun-hye called for overhauling the nation's financial system, according to the demands of the present.
The Special Act on the construction and support of cities for the purpose of relocating provincial government offices stipulates that the central government must purchase the former sites and buildings of local governments when they're relocated to other areas. It costs over $270 million to buy land that used to belong to local governments, but there are no measures in place on how to raise the necessary funds. The government has decided to swiftly implement the so-called pay-go method, which mandates that funding plans be devised for all budget-related bills proposed by legislators.
입법을 통한 무분별한 지출 증가를 막기 위해서는 재정을 수반하는 법률 위반 시에 재정 조달 방법도 함께 제출하도록 의무화할 필요가 있습니다.
President Park Geun-hye also called for overhauling the nation's financial system, including the share tax and education grants, in line with the demands of the times. To enhance its financial soundness, the government has announced a plan to scrap or integrate 600 unnecessary projects this year and cut state-funded projects by 10%.
3 people were killed and 2 were seriously wounded in a shooting spree at a training camp for reserve forces in Seoul on Wednesday. It appears that the shooter, identified by his surname Che, planned the shooting even before entering the training camp. Here's the story.
The reservist surnamed Che, who went on a shooting spree at a reserve forces training site, left a 2-page suicide note which provides clues to his criminal motive. Found in a pocket of the late Che's combat uniform pants, the note said that he wanted to kill other people and take his own life. He also wrote that he regretted not having killed himself when he was serving in the military, and that he would kill others and himself during a shooting training session. A military investigation has discovered that Che was a soldier at Category B risk when he was on active duty. Che received medical attention for depression and was transferred to different military units several times, and his fellow soldiers closely monitored him as a result. Despite his history as a soldier at risk, live ammunition was given to Che without question after he became a reservist. Guns must be fixed and pointed forward, but it has been confirmed that the clamp on Che's gun was loosened.
예비군 훈련 중 불의의 사고로 유명을 달리하신 분들의 명복을 빌고 유가족분들께도 진심으로 위로의 말씀을 드립니다.
Military authorities plan to thoroughly investigate whether safety measures were neglected when the rampage took place.
The flagship broadcasters of South Korea and China, KBS and CCTV, have agreed to expand production cooperation. The 2 broadcasters will also co-produce a variety of shows featuring celebrities from both nations.
KBS President Cho Dae-hyun, who is attending the Asia-Pacific Broadcasting Union's Board of Directors meeting in China, visited China's state-run broadcaster, CCTV. The KBS president met with CCTV President Nie Chun-shi for about an hour to discuss ways to expand the 2 broadcasters' cooperation in the co-production of speech shows.
양국을 교류하면서 이렇게 토론하거나 강의하는 프로그램을 만들 수 있다면 서로 굉장히 유익할 거라고 생각합니다.
The CCTV president also proposed to bolster cooperation in the production of documentaries. He cited the KBS documentary Super China, which aired this year as a New Year special. The KBS president asked the CCTV to allow for Chinese subtitles in KBS World programs airing in China. The CCTV president responded positively, promising to consider the matter.
The Seoul Metropolitan Government has decided to close down the Seoul Station overpass to traffic in October, with plans to revamp the overpass into a sky park. However, merchants and factory owners near the facility complain that the Seoul city government's unilateral decision will make it more difficult for them to make a living. Here's the story.
An overpass runs between buildings. Ramps leading to Namdaemun and Mount Nam stretch out like tree branches. This is a design to turn the Seoul Station overpass into a park, which was selected through an international competition. The idea is to plant trees and flowers to transform the overpass into a hanging garden.
There's a collection of plants, trees, that with their pots in such a way positioned that you can move them around.
But the impressive Sky Park project is causing distress among merchants operating near the facility. They insist that if the overpass is closed, they cannot deliver orders on time from Mallidong to Namdaemun and Dongdaemun markets, and they will be forced to shut down. In response to these complaints, the Seoul city government announced that it will revise bypass and traffic signal systems to ease transportation inconveniences. More than $34.7 million will be invested in the park project, which will begin in October after the Seoul city government finalizes the design.
Korean TV shows saw a positive response at the largest drama screening event in the U.S., drawing a great number of decision makers from American TV and film industries. Here's more.
For the second year in a row, Korean TV dramas were presented at the largest drama screening event in North America. 14 series from major Korean broadcasters, including KBS, MBC, and SBS, were introduced.
I love the actors. They're amazing and gorgeous. But writers and directors, I'm crazy impressed by the writing and directing.
KBS has introduced 3 dramas, Big Man, Unkind Woman, and Producers. Among the 3, Producers won the most attention. Scheduled to premiere this Friday, it's about the producers at KBS's entertainment division and features a star-studded cast led by a top-rated writer and director.
Yeah, I really love KBS dramas. I think KBS has some of the most memorable dramas in Korean dramas like Winter Sonata and Full House.
Consultations with buyers from North and Latin America will take place until May 15th to discuss sales of broadcasting rights and program formats.
3 new movies will open in Korean theaters this week that might just put an end to the Avengers sequel's dominance at the box office. They include the latest installment of a post-apocalyptic action series and a heart-pounding Korean thriller.
Earth in the 22nd century is a dust-covered wasteland devastated after a nuclear war. It's a post-apocalyptic action blockbuster in which the survivors of worldwide calamities band together to fight the tyrannical leader King Immortan-jo, who has monopolized what little water and oil is left over from the devastation. The 4th film in the Mad Max franchise is directed by George Miller, who also wrote and directed the 3 original movies. Lieutenant Choi, about to be promoted, accidentally kills a man. This is a thriller about a police officer who tries to cover up the murder he committed himself as the investigator in charge and ends up getting tangled in an even larger crime. Marked by a cast of exceptionally talented actors and a speedy plot, the movie never lets go of the audience's attention.
I really loved your film. That scene with the dogs around the garbage. How did you stage that?
A couple in their 40s are charmed by the lives of a young couple they befriended by chance. The middle-aged couple at first feel younger and more alive, but living the life of a couple in their 20s eventually becomes a chore they can't handle anymore. The film is a black comedy that blends the director's delicate style and the cast members' natural acting.
Balanced nutrition is key to a healthy life after retirement, which explains the ever-so-popular superfood phenomenon. Today, we have the scoop on artichokes, popular for their health benefits in the West. You've seen artichokes, right? A vegetable that looks like a flower bud?
뭔지 모르겠어요. 전혀 모르겠어요.
똑같은데?
We also asked foreigners in Seoul's Itaewon area.
It's an artichoke. When it's cooked, I love it. It's so yummy.
Though artichokes are pretty unusual here in Korea, they're a fairly common food ingredient overseas.
이 아티초크는 지중해 연안이 원산지인 국화과 식물인데요. 항산화 물질인 이 기능성 물질 시나린이라는 성분도 아주 풍부해서 심혈관 계통에 질환이 있으신 분들에게 상당히 도움이 될 수 있고 평소 소화 기능이 약하신 분들에게도 좋은 식품이라고 할 수 있습니다.
In Europe, artichokes are a renowned health food known as a treasure trove of nutrition. Artichokes are also raised here in Korea, mainly in the south and on Jeju Island. Harvest begins from early May. Here are some artichoke dish recipes. First, cut off both ends and also remove the thorns on the leafy ends. We're making poached artichokes. Boil the veggie for 30 minutes with lemons to prevent browning. You can just eat the white flesh inside the leaves or scrape them out. How does it taste?
단 밤이나 밤 고구마와 같은 맛이고요. 그냥 달짝지근하면서 고소한 맛이에요.
Let's go for artichoke pizza this time. First, melt butter on a hot pan and add flour, heavy cream and milk, and boil the mixture. You can add cheese powder for a more savory taste. Use raw artichoke leaves as a topping and bake the pizza in an oven. And you'll have your homemade artichoke pizza, good for lowering your cholesterol levels. Manage your health this season with artichokes, edible flower buds that are nice to look at and also good for your body. And now let's take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks for watching, and we will see you again at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.